See, there is no crime in taking yourself out for a massage, even a self vacation. As long as you have the money, why not prepare your papers and fly out? Hello guys, welcome back to today's video. I'm super happy doing this with all of us again. If you're new here, welcome. Feel at home, feel free, because we exude a lot of positive things here. Just feel free, okay? So behind the camera is Impact Favor, and I film about faith, purposeful living, and lifestyle. Alright, so today we are going to be talking about something very interesting. From our title, you already know what we're talking about. We're talking about loving your neighbor. Loving your neighbor. Loving your neighbor. If we can tackle this problem from the roots, I believe that our problem in this country is over. Okay, talking about that, I'm going to be releasing 7 practical steps on how to love your neighbor. But before I start with that step, I want to establish a fact. You know that this love we're talking about was first originated by God. God is the author of love. He knows what is love. He knows how to do love, even more than what we even do now. In fact, talking about love, this our generation today have already bastardized, have damaged the whole essence of love. What we see as love today is not even love. And we can't talk about loving our neighbor without first dealing it from the square root, which is loving our own self. Because even the Bible said it. It said, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So how do you love yourself? It's how you love yourself that will determine how you will love your neighbor. If you don't love yourself very well, you will not love your neighbor very well as well. There is no magic about it. There is no two way about it. The degree to which you love others is dependent on how you love yourself. So yes, we are going to deal with it from the square root today. How to love yourself in order to love your neighbors as well. The first on my practical list is accepting yourself for who you are. Most times we want to change ourselves, we want to imitate other people, we want to mimic our friends, we want to mimic our pastor, we want to imitate our role models, our mentors, and at the end of the day we just end up being frustrated. Instead of investing that energy in imitating other people, invest in accepting yourself for who you are. And how can this help you in relating with other people, in relating with your neighbor? It can help you because most times we don't love our neighbor because we want to change them. You want to change them from who they originally are to somebody that they are not. And it's not going to be a successful game. Even if it's going to be successful, it's not going to be a fulfilling love, because that person that you successfully changed is not even happy with his or herself. So why put somebody in that kind of bitter space, in that kind of unfulfilling state? Instead, accept the person for who the person is and love the person for who the person is. But so on the list is confess positively to yourself. Yes, you are the handmaid of God. You are beautiful. You are unique. Stop speaking negative to your life. Stop calling yourself names that you are not. Most of us, we are in the habit of calling ourselves stupid, idiots, mumu, foolish. All these are very hurtful words, and they're not meant to be addressed to any human being, let alone yourself. You are treasured, you are valued, you are loved, you are everything positive. So stop confessing negatively to yourself. And let me tell you for free, the world itself has ears. Like, for God to speak to creation and everything came to birth, everything came forward, is a proof that the world, the universe has ears. It is what you tell yourself that unconsciously magnets into your life, that attracts into your life, that draws into your life. So the more you call yourself foolish, the more you see yourself tending towards that foolish life. You just see yourself going towards that, because that's what you're attracting to your life. You're calling yourself foolish, and the spirit of foolishness is just following you, like following you. So you cannot make anything reasonable. You cannot do anything reasonable. Instead of you brooding in this energy, why not channel this energy into confessing positively that I'm a treasure, I am gold, I am precious, and let the good things of life in return also follow you. And how does this relate in relating with your neighbors, in loving your neighbors? It helps because most times we are very quick to insult our neighbors. We are very quick to throw harsh words to our neighbors, to judge our neighbors. But if we can invest this energy to ourselves, all this abuse that we see today is going to die a natural death, because you can't do this to yourself and you have already cultivated this as a habit. So it's not going to be hard to reciprocate that energy to your neighbor. So which brings me to my third point, which is see yourself from God's lens. And what is God's lens? How is God's perspective towards you? God's perspective towards you is that in that while you were yet sinner, you were undeserving, you did not even merit it, he came and he died for you. which means that you are valuable. God saw something in you which is treasure, which is value, which is worth, that he came down to earth to die for you. Come on, you are more than valuable. So see yourself from God's lens. And how does this help in loving your neighbor? It helps in loving your neighbor because when you know that this same God that died for me also died for my neighbor, it will help you to appreciate your neighbor's value. It will help you to cultivate the idea of valueness of your neighbor. So you already know that this your neighbor is as valuable as you are. So you need each other. You need to rub minds with each other, not to segregate and pull everybody aside, thinking that you can function all by yourself. No, it's a matter of a teamwork and a good space. So that's just it generally. The next practical step in loving yourself so you can love your neighbor is be patient with yourself. And I feel like I'm talking to myself directly. Don't create too harsh lines for yourself. Don't create harsh deadlines for yourself. Don't rush yourself for things that you know that are certainly yours, or things that knows that they are still going to manifest over time, just time that is actually the requirement. So don't just rush yourself over all those things. I'm not talking about being lazy or complacent. That is very out of the way. I don't even stand for that as a person. I'm talking about being too anxious about something, because what happens is that it ends up leaving you frustrated and leaving you defeated. If that doesn't work out as planned or as you envisaged, you just lose the vibe of picking up yourself again and forging ahead. So be patient with yourself. Create room for mistakes, create room for failures, because they are going to come, even from yourself, even from your neighbor. They are going to come, but just be patient with yourself. Be patient with your process. Be patient on your journey. All right, your manifestation will come. Take it from me, your manifestation will come. And how does this help in loving your neighbor? It helps in loving your neighbor because you're patient with your neighbor. You believe that your neighbor is human as you, so your neighbor can make mistake, your neighbor can fail in one or two ways. And yes, so instead of brooding malice, instead of brooding hatred or resentment towards your neighbor, all those are already sorted out in the past, because I've already forgiven your neighbor before you even met this your neighbor. So what's there to bother about? Everybody is loving and life is going as smoothly as possible as supposed. Which brings me to my next point, which is invest in yourself. It is very difficult for you to love something that is not valuable. That's just the truth. If you think that you are not valuable, it is very difficult to love yourself. If you think that you don't contribute anything to yourself, you don't contribute anything to society, it's very difficult to love yourself. The quickest way to just love yourself is to imbibe or to cultivate or gather a lot of content. Don't just be a surface. Don't just be a preliminary or shallow. Be rich in content, in quality. Do you get? Because when you're rich in quality, when you're rich in content, you just love yourself, because you look at it and say, I've tried, only me, I know all these things. You love yourself because you know that you are full of positivity, you're full of change, transformation, you're full of knowledge, you know things about things. So you are not shallow to anything. You're not just on the surface. So it's not just face to you, it's not just beauty to you, but behind even the beauty there is a lot more of things to you, and you will love yourself. I'm telling you the truth. What are skills to invest in? You can invest in financial skills, you can invest in your culinary skills, you can invest in your etiquette skills, you can invest in vocational skills. Invest in things. Trust me, no knowledge is a waste, and it will help you. It will help change your view of yourself. It will help promote your self-image. It will help promote your self-confidence. It will help promote your charisma. Like, it just helps a lot. So you're confident in yourself and what you bring to the table, because you know that you are full of wisdom. And how does it help in loving your neighbor? It helps loving your neighbor because one thing about loving is sharing, is giving. And trust me, you cannot give what you don't have. So in your neighbor aspect, you find out that whenever you meet with someone or you sit with someone, you just have a way of transferring knowledge to that person. And believe you me, that is love. That is just love. You just share knowledge with your neighbor. You share knowledge with the community that you are. Because of you're invested in a lot of things, you are exposed, you are enlightened. So you reciprocate in your neighborhood. You have the better way or the nice way to do things and handle things for the peace and the betterment of the society at large. Alright, so I think this is the end of the practical step on how to love your neighbor, especially as you love yourself. Remember, that is just the basics of this love. Love yourself. It is only as you love yourself that you will love your neighbor. So guys, as I said before, accept yourself for who you are. Confess positively to yourself. View yourself from God's lens. Be patient with yourself and invest in yourself. And a tip, like I normally do, I like to do bonanza a lot. A tip on one of these practical ways of loving your neighbor as you love yourself is, please learn to treat yourself, learn to take yourself out, learn to spend on yourself, learn to love up on yourself. See, there's no crime in taking yourself out for a massage. As long as you have the money, my dear, do it. Even a self vacation, as long as you have the money, why not prepare your papers and fly out? And how does it help in loving your neighbor? Like I normally link it, you will not be stingy to your neighbor because your neighbor is just like yourself. So what is there? If I can give to myself, I can freely give to my neighbor, and together the society is a safe, best and sweet space to find ourselves in. So having talked about this, I believe by now you already know that this loving your neighbor is not really complicated as you normally see it or how we think of it. It's not really complicated. Everything just boils down to you. How do you see yourself? And it will just flow naturally. Alright guys, I believe you have learned a lot. I know you've learned a lot from this video. Alright, do well to like this video. Do well to share, guys. I'm still emphasizing on this sharing. Please share these videos to your friends, to your loved ones, to everybody you come across with. Trust me, the society needs messages like this so that together we can create a positive atmosphere for everybody to thrive in. So do well to share this video. Do well to comment below. I love to see your engagement. Why? I want to be commenting. I want to be interacting with a lot of us because I believe that these are positive. These are awesome people that are watching me. I want to really get to know you and build a positive interactive community. So that's just it. Please comment below and do well to subscribe. Please do well to subscribe, guys. Our views are not corresponding with our subscribers. Why? Please do well to subscribe, guys. You can hit 100 views this month. Do you believe it? I believe it. I walk by faith and not by sight. Please, we can hit 100,000. Amen. We can. I'm going to say 100,000 subscribers. Amen. We can as well hit 100,000 subscribers this month. But please, let's make it up to 100 this month. Who is with me on this? Let's make it up to 100,000 subscribers. I need you to do this. So do well to subscribe and as well tap the notification bell so you get notified or whenever I drop a video, so you don't get lost on this journey. Remember, this is a journey of transformation. This is a journey of impactfulness or purposefulness, you get, so you don't get lost. You always get notified whenever we post. Do well to notify yourself on this by clicking the notification bell. Alright, I love you, but God loves you more. Bye. Which brings me to my next number, which is, okay, please check if this is still recording. Which brings me to my next number, which is it has stopped.
In the future.
I don't have, this boy is not normal. Which brings me to my next list, which is which brings me to my next point, which is